everyone. I want to thank you in advance for taking just a few minutes to participate in this video chat. We wanted to be able to come to you and share some information with regard to the COVID-19 coronavirus. First of all, I want to commend all of our employees for pulling together and doing what they need to do in their specific areas to make sure our district, to make sure our school system operates effectively as we're looking at the continuance of operations moving forward. I have to say this, back in 2007 I served as superintendent in Ware County where they had the state's largest wildfires, and there was a period of time of roughly a month, 30 plus days, where we were having to make decisions day in and day out about the closure of school or school operations, and that was a challenge. In 2015 I served on the governor's Ebola task force in my role as president of the Georgia School Superintendents Association. That was challenging. But folks, I have to tell you, this event with the COVID-19 virus is really unprecedented in any set of circumstance, because we are facing this not only as a system, but as a state, as a nation, and literally worldwide. And it's going to take us a little bit of time to get our head wrapped around the work and what this new normal is going to look like. So I want to share with you that we're going to make decisions as information becomes available, and we're going to be steady in the boat as we're working through these issues. One of the things that I do want to tell our audience is that we've been meeting together as a task force for at least the last couple of weeks, even before that with some of our virtual learning plan, because we always want to have a good plan moving forward. Again, we want to be steady in the boat, and we've got a task force that's represented. Our members will be speaking to you here in just a second, but I do want to let our audience know that all of the decisions that we've been making in this new normal, they haven't been done unilaterally. It's not something where the superintendent's sitting in his office and just making random decisions. We've been gathering information from the Georgia Department of Public Health, CDC, healthcare professionals. We've worked closely with Piedmont Fayette. We're working to try to gather information from the State Department of Education, really from all sources, in order to see how that will impact our district as we continue to move forward. So with that, I would like to mention to you our task force by name, and then we're going to ask each one of them to address areas under their sphere of influence or their sphere of responsibility. The first person is Debbie King. She's our lead nurse, and she'll be coming up. We have Tom Gray, our Chief Financial Officer. We have Mike Sanders, our Assistant Superintendent for Operations. We have Julie Turner, our Assistant Superintendent for Student Achievement. We have Mr. Jim Farmer, our Chief Technology Officer. Also serving on the committee has been Mr. Sam Sweat, and our HR Director, Aaron Roberson. Also want to mention Melinda Berry-Dreisbach. She's actually behind the camera right now and really helping to make sure our communication is going out in an effective and timely manner. So with that, we'll start with Debbie King first.
All right, thank you, Dr. Barra. COVID-19 is a respiratory illness. It's caused by a new coronavirus that originated in China. It spreads from person to person, and anyone can be infected. The highest risk population is anyone over 60, especially if they have an underlying health condition, such as a cardiovascular issue, diabetes, HIV, and if they've traveled to an affected area. Incubation period is 2 to 14 days, 5 days being the average. The symptoms are coughing, high fever, shortness of breath, You also can have sneezing and runny nose, but keep in mind it is allergy season at this point, so it could be that issue. Preventing the spread, very important. Good hand washing is probably the biggest thing that you can do to protect yourself. And that's washing it frequently with soap and water is the best choice. And if you don't have soap and water, then the waterless or the waterless soap that has at least 60% alcohol. Avoid touching your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your face. Cover your cough and sneezes, and then if you're using a tissue, to throw that away immediately. Avoid close contact with anyone who's sick. Clean and disinfect frequently touched items or objects and surfaces such as doorknobs, light switches. If you think you or your family member has been affected with COVID-19, first call your healthcare provider. That's where you start. Tell your doctor about your symptoms, any travel history, or any contacts, and then they will tell you where to go to be tested or to receive care. And it could be that you will be that you should stay home and avoid contact with others. I am in close contact with our Georgia Department of Public Health and our local health department nurse manager. We talk almost on a daily basis. The school nurses are working from home and keeping in contact with their families, staff about concerns, health concerns. If you have any questions or any concerns, the best information is at the Georgia Department of Public Health website or on the CDC website.
Hey, I'm Tom Gray. I'm the Chief Financial Officer for the school system and oversee the finance, human resources, school nutrition program, and after-school program. So just a couple of things in those areas to give you some information on. One is the school nutrition program. We are reaching out and serving meals where there is a need. We've identified 2 schools that we're starting as distribution points on a drive-through model. That will be Spring Hill Elementary School and North Fayette Elementary School. We plan to expand that program at Fayette County High School in the same model. Plan to have distribution sites throughout the county in at least 4 locations. As time goes on, we hope to expand that as needed, and we see the areas that have the need for that. Those meals are available to children 18 and under, that there's no requirement for any payment or any identification, but just the parent needs to bring the child to the location and the meals will be served to the children. There will be a lunch and a breakfast given at that time. We'll continue the program as long as we continue to see the need for that in the community. Another issue is with HR, and our guidance there has been sent out to administrators for work schedules for employees. Employees should reach out to their administrator to stay in touch on as far as what their work schedule should be. Employees that can work from home, if they do need to come into their work site for some pick up something or some other information, they should work with their administrator on scheduling that. Other employees who can't necessarily do their work from home should work with their supervisor or administrator on a work schedule and when and how to report to work. Also, our finance department is working to make sure that we continue to pay our employees and that a payroll is not missed. Our next scheduled payroll is March 31st. We're processing that information right now so that we will be on time with the payroll so employees do not miss their paycheck. Hourly employees would need to work with their supervisor or their administrator and the building administrator for work opportunities that may be out there so that they can continue to have opportunity to receive a paycheck. In addition, we do know that there is an issue for teachers with their contracts. Contracts went out right before we had this break in our operations, and we've extended the deadline on the contracts to whenever we return from the break and come back to a regular work schedule. And then I just want to emphasize that employees that do need to work with their administrator as far as how they're going to maybe log their time or perform their duties or what duties can be performed at home And that is a case-by-case basis, but you should work with your administrator on how you're going to handle your work duties during this off period.
I'm Mike Sanders. I'm Assistant Superintendent of Operations. Transportation, school safety, nurses, and facilities are four of the areas that report directly to me. I wanted to update you a little bit on what we're doing in each one of those areas. Of course, you've heard from Ms. King with the school nurses and her update, but our main focus from the facility side during this closure will be primarily in disinfecting schools. We have a team who will be going through the schools while they're closed and spraying them down. We have an electrostatic sprayer that was purchased by the system that allows us to do large areas quickly. So Harold Sullivan and his team have already started in some of our auxiliary buildings, locker rooms, hitting facilities, gyms, those type things that aren't in use. And then as soon as our teachers get through yesterday and today, we want to give them opportunity to be in and out of the building, and then they will begin moving through the school system starting tomorrow. So that way, when we do come back, we will have all of our schools will have been touched and made as sterile as possible. Also, during this time, we have, as you may or may not know, we have 253 buses in the system. While not all of them are used on a daily basis, we are going to use the same product, which is an approved disinfectant, to sterilize all of those or disinfect all of those buses. So when the students come back, all 253 of our buses, whether they're on a regular route or not, will have been touched and cleaned as well. Our transportation department during this time is also going to be assisting Mr. Gray and Ms. Wilder and school nutrition in distribution and delivery of the meals that we'll be providing our students. So I certainly do appreciate those drivers and monitors who will be assisting and helping during this time. And finally, Ted Lombard, our safety coordinator, and I, we're in constant contact and constant communication with our local law enforcement as well as our emergency management agency, and receiving up-to-date guidance from them, working to provide whatever assistance is needed. We're very fortunate in our county between Sheriff Babb, Chief Moon, Chief Gray, and Chief Mundy in each jurisdiction, in the support that we receive on a daily basis from in our school system from these people. And during this time has been no exception. While they're busy dealing with their own issues, they're always willing to assist the school system in any way possible. So we certainly do appreciate their help during this time.
Hi, I'm Julie Turner, Assistant Superintendent of Student Achievement. First, I want to say thank you to teachers, school administration, and other school staff for stepping up as we learn how to support virtual learning. As many of you probably already know, Milestones has been canceled, as well as TEKS and LEAKS evaluations, attendance-related things such as school climate rating and makeup days, as well as other assessments such as GKIDS, EOPAs, and other federal requirements under ESSA. With all of this rapidly changing, you may be thinking to yourself, if the accountability is changing, then why so much effort to teach? I want to remind teachers that our focus has never been just the test. Our focus has always been on delivering high quality teaching and learning to our students. Remember, we're not just teaching for today, we're teaching for next year and the year after that, and for children as they walk on into their lives to be critical thinkers and problem solvers, that portrait of a graduate that we often refer to. Please continue to develop engaging lessons that move learning forward. Trust and rely on the curriculum department to support and guide you. This is new for all of us, so all of us need to extend patience and grace to one another. In some districts, students might start next year with big gaps. Our goal in Fayette County is to make sure that we diminish that gap as much as possible with our students starting next year as far down the road as we can get them. I want to say also, thank you to Digital Learning Services for developing the virtual learning website. This website has provided expectations, guidance, how to prepare for digital learning, virtual learning, as well as lots of resources for teachers to use. We greatly appreciate all that hard work to pull that together in a short amount of time.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jim Farmer. I'm the Chief Technology Officer. And I wanted to say that the Digital Services Department, which is made up of Digital Learning and Technology Services, has been working for virtual learning days that kind of got changed a little bit when we found out we were going to have to close. So this is unprecedented for all of us, and I would like to reiterate what Dr. Turner said. We have a great plan in place. It's not perfect, but with the amount of time that we've had and with the amount of effort that has gone into it, we feel our teachers are really just doing a fantastic job of taking the resources and tools that we have and adjusting their schedules and adjusting to this new virtual reality that we have now. And to that point, I just wanted to say, if there are issues, if you have any kind of technical need or support need, please, for our teachers and administrators, to use the Incident IQ platform to fill out a ticket so that we can get the support that you need as quickly as possible. Digital learning is also available virtually for teachers to address whether it's a specific teaching need or a tool support. They'll also be sending out information about virtual trainings that will be going on during the closure so that we can continue providing professional learning support for all of our staff. The Technology Services Department is working virtually because of the need to not be in groups and to have smaller gatherings. We will be available through the IQ platform to provide support as best we can for any of those technical needs that we're having out in with our systems. The last piece of information I just wanted to share real quickly is we are going to be sending out some information very shortly about a Chromebook support plan for our students and families that are having any kind of Chromebook issues. We are working on having a drop-off at the LEC, in the back of the LEC by the VOTEC building, where parents will be able to drive through and actually drop off the Chromebook. It will be quickly diagnosed by tech services. If there's an immediate fix, we'll do that. If not, we'll provide a replacement Chromebook that can then be, keep the student on with their learning. And the last thing I just wanted to mention was, this is unprecedented for all of us, but from what I've seen and heard so far with our current learning and teaching that's going on, our teachers are adjusting and are very flexible and are doing a fantastic job. We'll be continuing to provide support, and from the technical side as well as the digital learning side. So we will do just fine with this unprecedented time as we get through this together.
Now you can see that our task force is here. I would want to point out that we are practicing what we're preaching as far as social distancing. People are spread out around the table. We've been meeting every day and working through issues. And certainly we are trying to provide good role models as we're moving through and addressing issues. I will say that you're hearing terms social distancing, flattening the curve with regard to exposure and the expansion of the COVID-19 virus. You'll hear the term continuance of operations, and that's why we're meeting here and sharing this information with you. There are a couple of things that I do want to come back and reinforce strongly. We've had the national emergency assignment given by President Trump. We've had Governor Kemp give the state of emergency for Georgia. You've heard that we've had State School Superintendent Richard Woods also putting things into play from the State Department perspective. There's a lot of things that are happening so fast, very fluid, very rapid, and we're changing and adjusting as we move through. I do want to mention again that based on the governor's order from yesterday or late last night, we will be closed through March 31st. We will evaluate where we are as a district and let information come out through our system webpage. I want to encourage you, there are all kinds of information sources out there. The most accurate information that you will receive is on the Fayette County webpage, the system webpage. Our schools are trying to keep up as well, but always refer back to the Fayette County system webpage for the most accurate. We're updating that at least on a day-to-day basis, maybe even hour by hour as information begins to become available. We do have the announcement from the State Department where a lot of modifications are being made because of this. The assessment window in administration as far as milestones and end of grade, end of course, the Georgia Alternative Assessment, folks, those have been waived. So it's not something that teachers have to stress out about. Well, are my kids getting what they need in order to be successful on the milestones? That's been taken care of. The TEEPs and LEAPs, or the teacher and leader evaluation piece, that's also been modified, so you don't have to worry about that. The attendance issues and related things, the CCRPI scores, the school climate rating, the makeup days, all of those things have been taken into consideration, and we will receive waivers for those. So that's the good news. The issue that I want to make sure that our folks understand, our community understands, is that we've never been about teaching and learning just because of testing and getting a grade or a ranking. We've been about teaching and learning because that's the right thing to do for our young people and our community. And we're going to continue to do that. And so I want to encourage you to work at home as much as you can. If there are reasons for you to be on campus or at your regular job site, work with your administrators and or direct supervisors. We want everyone to feel safe and secure, but we want to try to keep things as close to normal as we can with our day-to-day operations. I want to re-emphasize what Nurse King shared with us. If you feel like you've come into contact or exhibiting symptoms, make sure you check with your primary care doctor or your emergency clinics, your federally qualified health centers, whatever medical services you tap into. If you feel like you're having symptoms, call first. Don't overwhelm the health system based on folks that really need to take advantage of that. We want to make sure you understand that, and as a school district, as a community, as a state, as a nation, and as a neighbor to the world, we're going to get through this. I am fully confident of that. Folks, I've used this example many times. I have children in the school district just like you may have. We're going to take care of our children, but we also want to take care of them with their educational opportunities as well. We want to keep that gap as narrow as we possibly can. If you have questions or concerns, I know this has been somewhat of a lengthy video clip, but I want you to make sure you reach out to the folks on the task force, to your building administrators. Let us know if there are things that you have concerns about. Let us know if you need support. And as we become aware of those issues, we will work to try to address that with the collective wisdom of our system leaders. Thank you, and stay safe.